So it is 4th of September 2019, and we are on our way to Shah Alam for our meeting. Today is actually the first day of UPSR for this year, and it happened to be that I have a daughter that is in standard 6 this year and is taking UPSR. So the first paper was today, earlier this morning, and yeah, also in the commute to work, or in the driving to work this morning, on the radio they are discussing on a motion for scrapping this UPSR exam, because basically scrapping the standardized national level exam, right? And the one proposing this saying that he is not against exam in general, right, or assessment. So if the school want to do the assessment, etc., so be it, right? And the final end of the year assessment, exam, etc. But the nationwide exam, that has become an industry, right? There's a tuition there, etc., etc., etc. So, and he is opposing that because there seems to be no reason for it, right? It's only academic, doesn't cover co-curriculum. So why do you need it when at school, the school can already make an exam to evaluate that part, and also the school actually evaluate the co-curriculum, etc. already, right? So that's quite an interesting one. The implication though is because there's one response saying that how can we be sure of this standardized standard, right? And I think, yeah, that's a rational question to ask, because if we let the school to make their own exam, then it may be very much skewed or biased or not at the same level, right? But he responded that school and teacher are professional, and it should be professional. And he said that he make an example of a doctor, right? He said, if you go to your hospital and see one particular doctor in the hospital, and he diagnosed you to have this kind of illness, for example, if you go to another hospital, or abroad in another country to see another doctor, it should be the same. And why do you expect that this doctor will give a different diagnosis than the other doctor, right? It should be the same. It's a professional job. There's a way, standard SOP about it, etc., etc., right? So he says school and teachers should be the same. Why do you expect, or why do you have the fear that this school will have a totally different diagnosis or assessment of someone than another school? If the student is good in the academic, in co-curriculum, in attitude, etc., that he is good, and anywhere he is being assessed, right? So that is quite an interesting point that he made, even though in practical sense, in practicality, I'm not sure personally, right? That's an interesting point to make, that teachers should be professional, they have a job to do, and in terms of assessment also, they are not biased, etc., etc., right? Now, how then do we have the fear? I personally have the fear that no, the school want to push its own self up, right? So they will have mechanism or ways to do that, make their own student goes up, right? And then that is where all things can get messed up, etc. Right? But why do we assume that? Is that a fact Why do you assume that? Right? And this related to another discussion. I just was eavesdropping, to a conversation between several professors from several universities. One of them have already retired. Someone else is a professor currently, holding high administration posts, etc. But anyways, bunch of professors talking, right? And one of the things that I find interesting when they discuss the problem that we're currently facing in the university is that this is a problem where KPI becomes the target, right? So he exactly said that. Of course, I have been someone who truly believe that KPI should never be a target from way back, right? I always push for that. KPI should be KPI, it should not be target, right? It should be just indicator, right? But however, in reality, KPI has become a target. Even in the institution that I work with, KPI is treated like a target. We should achieve KPI, which doesn't make sense to me. Personally, I don't think that makes sense. But throughout, meaning all around me, that seems to make perfect sense. I don't know why, but everyone says we should achieve KPI. I don't understand it, how it is understood that way, but it is. So that's the reality, right? But he said this is a symptom of the problem where KPI becomes the target, right? So, for example, in terms of research world, right? If you did a good research and publish it, naturally, anyone who covers it or read it or come across it, etc., will cite it more if the quality is higher. We can say like that, right? Generally speaking, if your output is very much of a quality, then it tends to have much more citation because people keep referring to it to make a point, for example, right? So the citation number is an indicator of how good your work is. However, okay, now before however, so if the target is to make a good quality research, and then the indicator of how good it is after that is based on how much people citing it, how much citation it get, then it makes sense, right? Meaning that the level of achievement of quality research, the indicator is the number of citation that you get, right? So it makes sense. However, when you try to get that KPI, meaning that KPI becomes a target, then your target is not quality research. Your target is more citation. That is where you have self-citation comes in, you have inter-self-citation, or whatever you want to call it. But this game that academicians play just so that you get more citation, because that's the target now. It's not that we let it be any good research, because we will cite any good research for our study, right? Because that is high quality. Obviously, it will become a source for us to discuss furthermore, to further develop the knowledge in that particular area, right? So, generally speaking, naturally the citation will go up. However, when your objective becomes to get more citation, if I do my personal paper, right, I will make sure that I will cite all my previous paper, for example, right, because it will increase my citation. And regardless of it's high of quality or not, or even it's directly related or not, right, I can still cite it in one way or another, right? So that is the thing. Personally, I haven't gone down this lane yet. which personally I kind of regret, because one, my paper that I published is directly related to one another. It's direct continuation. But when I did the continuation paper, I never thought of citing my previous paper, because from my perspective, I just cite what others have done, how it's contributing, etc. I have never yet, embedded in myself this citation game. I haven't yet. Of course, I haven't become part of the publishing game yet also, right? But I think it comes together. If you are fighting for the publication game, naturally it is tied to the citation game as well, right? So it's come together. So I'm not yet in there. I'm not saying it's a positive thing or negative. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, I'm still not buying it, and it still haven't become an important part of my life. But anyway, so going back to what the professor said, okay, this is a huge problem when KPI become a target, right? Because now with the game that being played, number of citation may not really imply how quality it is, right? Because it can be achieved by certain expertise in playing the game, right? If you have a lot of colleagues that are doing in the same field, right, related field, and we can just keep on citing each other, the number of citation can go up quite quickly, I think. Especially if you have a bunch of people and each doing their own paper, etc. So we keep on citing, so it can snowball, I think, right? So yeah, that's one thing. And another interesting thing that I pick up from that discussion is this whole game have taken the fun out of research. I think that's quite an interesting point. Of course, obviously, I haven't yet
in 200 meters
feel the fun of research, right? Except for the recent stretch of the study with the low carbon mobility. I think I have enjoyed it really much, because I learned so many things. I learned the research part, even though it's tough, it's tiring, etc. But I learned so much, and I do enjoy the learning process, right? So, and they said this how to say, this target that people have with regard to publication, journal, etc., it has really taken the fun out of research. And this comes from those who do research as part of their life. Right? And they mentioned several stories. One is several students who studied under some renowned professor, expert in their field, known worldwide. So when they want to publish, that they have a result of study,
turn right and then turn right.
The supervisor, this world-renowned expert, suggests that they present it in a local, in some conference, right? But they said no. Their sponsors, their country, whatever,
right, and then
want them
left.
to publish in journal, and it has to be like Scopus or indexed or whatever. And this supervisor, the renowned researcher, say, why are you going for journal? This should be in conference, so that you present to someone for exchange of ideas, exchange of knowledge, and interaction with those who study the same thing, etc. So it's quite interesting in that sense that these renowned professors think about knowledge first. You exchange knowledge, you present your work, etc. Right? And But from our perspective, we have some
You
KPIs
have reached your destination.
of publication of journal, right? So from the renowned professor, they say, why do you want to publish in that journal when there's no interaction that is going to take place, etc., etc., right? So I've reached my destination actually. So that is another thing that I think is quite interesting about this knowledge business. And I guess we will have, I hope to be able to properly digest and discuss these things in a proper manner. For right now, I'll stop here. I already reached the destination for our meeting. Allahu Alam.